G'day everyone, this afternoon I'm going bait fishing for Murray cod.
Hey you!
You're watching Robbie Fishing. Now this morning Brett and I went out and had a fantastic Murray cod opening session with lures, and we caught quite a few cod, and I even hooked and lost a yellowbelly. Now this afternoon we've come back to the same spot, but we're bait fishing. The last fish that I hooked was right under this log here under my feet. He hit my lure and didn't hook up. So I'm going to sit here and drown some bait off this log. Brett's just downstream there about 50 or 60 metres. And my dad and his brother, my uncle, are downstream a little bit, upstream a little bit further. There's 4 of us out here bait fishing for cod. Let's see if this evening's bait fishing session can be as productive as this morning's lure fishing session. Right now I've got my rods both rigged up, baited up and ready to go. Now I brought my Simon Humphrey rod holder with me, but I don't think I'm going to need it because of this big tree here. Right, I don't know which rod to put where. I might put the worms out in the middle and the cheese closer to the bank. Paternoster rig, quite a large hook, 2 bits of tasty cheese, 50-pound braided line. I think it's 40 this one actually. 40-pound braided line. Can't go wrong. And that's very deep. This one here, 6-pound monofilament line, a small hook, 2 Jan Juck worms. This is the all-rounder. This is the cod, yellowbelly, redfin, carp, blackfish, tangent, catfish rod. Oh, and trout sometimes. Right, both lines are baited up and in. It's time to play the waiting game. Oh, there's a bite, there's a fish on there. There's a fish on the worms. Got him. It's not a real big fish, but it's a fish. I reckon it's a little cod. And it is a little cod. Would you look at that? Now, what I'm going to do, because I can, I'm going to wet my hand with my landing net. Well, folks, I'm on the board. On the Jan Juck worms, about 15 minutes after getting here, I've caught this lovely little Murray cod, probably no more than 22 or 23 centimetres. Bloody ripper. Righto, lovely cod. He's got his gills flared out. He's a bit stressed, but he'll be fine once he hits that water. You beauty. Righto, rigged and ready to go back in. Now, that cod that hit my lure this morning was not the same cod that I just caught. I don't know that it was a substantial fish that hit my lure here this morning, but I think it was more substantial than that. Just getting a nibble on my worms here again. Oh, I should have struck then. I reckon he had that in his mouth then. Could only just put it back in 5 minutes ago. Whoa, 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 look at me rod. Me worm rod. Yeah, another one. I reckon it's another cod. He's bigger than the last one, but he's still small. That's my tip. He's exactly the same as the last one. This one's a trout cod. To the old net wet thing. Beautiful. Just to help keep the fish nice and cool. He's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit bigger. I'll see if I can get you a bit of a close-up. That is a trout cod, a protected species. Beautiful. Righto, trout cod. See you later, mate. Now, a trout cod is not a trout crossed with a Murray cod. It's a species all of its own. It's a trout cod. The old times used to call them blue nose cod, and they are an Australian native fish that were at risk of extinction at one stage, and they have just made their way back, and we catch them all the time. You beauty.
He's pretty good couple by now, named Robbie.
I have one little Murray cod and one little trout cod. Have they? So you've had a couple of bites. What about Dad and Uncle Gary? Can't grab them worms.
Your dad had a good bite before.
Yeah.
And the uncle too had a good bite, but never come back.
I've just had a message from my dad that said Brett just lost the rod while he was talking to you. Brett's just come down here to grab a couple of worms and grab his phone out of my car. And from what I can gather, he's lost his rod. I hope he got it back. No. Just a little nibble on the worms there again. Worms are go. I've not had a touch on the cheese yet, but the worm rod just hasn't stopped. So we're getting a bite on the worm each. Bit more of a bite on the worm there again. Certainly been no shortage of interest in me worm. Nothing's been anywhere near the cheese, but the worm hasn't stopped. Just getting another little nibble on the worms there. Something's just nibbling at it ever so delicately. Come on. Oh, he's got, oh, that was a decent yank. Oh my God, poor Brett. Brett's fishing up there around the bank and he's had a fishing rod pulled in the river. He come down to see me and he got the worm off me and got his phone out of the car, and while he was down here his fishing rod got pulled in the river again. Anyway, he's been trying to jag it with a lure and get it out, and I just texted my dad who's fishing just near him down there and I said, has Brett got his fishing rod back yet? And Dad says no, but he's lost 2 spinner baits and a hard body trying. Oh no. I'm sorry, Brett. Oh no. Oh, the poor bugger. We all do. We all become very, very blasé and complacent because we come out to these wonderful places and we relax. We become so relaxed that we don't care about anything, not even our fishing rods. Oh my God. I just had a phone call from Dad. After losing 2 spinner baits and a hard body lure, Brett finally got his rod back. He snagged it with the lure, he's cast it out, he's hooked it, and he was so happy to see it that he lifted it up out of the water and snapped the tip off it. Dad just said to me on the phone, that's the rod you've got when you don't want a fishing rod. Oh, poor Brett. Poor Brett, he never fails to bring the entertainment. Just getting a nibble on my worms here, and a wood duck's just landed there, so that'll probably take off. Where'd it go? There's a wood duck just behind this log here. There it goes. There he goes, something's still playing with it. Got him, something very small. Another small weeny little fish. This feels like the smallest one today. Oh, where's it going over here? It's a yellowbelly this time. I've caught 3 fish, 3 species. I'll just put my hand here. 3 fish, 3 species. Ah, come on, mate. A trout cod, a Murray cod, and a yellowbelly. What comes next? Where did the wood duck go? Tell you what, of all these species that I've caught a Murray cod, a trout cod, and now a lovely little yellowbelly. You know what I'd like to eat the most? That wood duck. But look at that, what a very pretty little golden perch. Yellowbelly, thanks for coming along and see you later, mate. The duck went just behind that log there, and even though I came down here and started talking, it didn't move. It probably thought, what the bloody hell's that big thing? 1 Murray cod, 1 trout cod, and now 1 yellowbelly on the board. And I've just put fresh worms on the worm rod and fresh cheese on the cheese rod, and the sun's still up. It's only 20 past 7. I've got a good hour or so left yet. Yeah, just had a nibble on the worms. First one for a while. It's gone a little bit quiet. Yeah, still playing with it. Very soft little nibble. So was that yellowbelly earlier. I'm still playing with that. And wait just a little bit longer. It's hard to imagine it being a very big fish when the bite is so soft and delicate. Still playing with it. Got him. There we go. I was right, it's not a very big fish. It is another yellowbelly. There we go. Oh, he's got the hook down a bit deep. The other one was lip hooked, but this one's a little bit deeper, so I might be able to get that out actually. It's not too bad. Oh yeah, it's easy to get out. Much easier. Look at that. He's got a bit of something funky going on with his top fin there. Anyway, I'm just going to change the camera setting for the release. Lovely little yellow belly. Isn't it funny? When the cod bite, the trout cod and the Murray cod were both straight down. Just there's a bite, next thing you know, the rod's buckling. When the yellow belly bite, it's just a really, really soft little, gentle little tap. 4 fish and a few other bites, all on the worms. Very, very quiet on the cheese front. These Jan Juck worms, they can be purchased online, and I'll put a link in the video description below to where you can find them. Worms are go. Right now, both lines are back in. Worms on one, cheese on the other. Current time is 2 minutes to 8, so it's 8 o'clock. I estimate that I've got around about 20 to 30 minutes left before it's too dark to see what I'm doing, to see if I can catch fish number 5. Now, I've caught 4 fish, a small trout cod, a small Murray cod, and 2 small yellow belly or golden perch. You might think that this is a bit of a nursery, this spot, but have a look at this photo, or these photos. My dad and my uncle, who lives in Melbourne and comes up here a couple of times a year, they were fishing just upstream from where I am now earlier today, and Dad caught this absolute ripper of a Murray cod. They didn't have a tape measure and they weren't sure how big it was, so they took a couple of photos and they just put it straight back. But what a fantastic cod, and when Dad rang me, he was so happy. That is just wonderful. So even though I'm catching a few small cod, there are some larger ones in here to be found. Well folks, we're pulling up stumps. There was no size this afternoon, but it was great to get 3 different species spread out across 4 fish. And what a fantastic afternoon it's been, just to sit on the bank of the river, drown some bait and relax. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not consider hitting the subscribe button so that you get a notification each time I upload, and hopefully you can join me on my next fishing adventure.